professional. He helps clients to develop strategies for effectively utilizing real estate, mortgages, and related financial
Straight from
products.
a run, right out of the shower.
Financial future. For
Here
the
we
real
go.
estate investor, the home buyer is able to provide expertise in matching the right properties and financing with your specific financial objectives. This show is dedicated to helping you find the safe and simple approach to buying income-producing real estate. If you have any questions about the program or to arrange a consultation, call toll-free 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. Now, today's edition of The Real Estate Show.
And hello, South Florida. Welcome to another live edition of the Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program and America's longest running daily radio show all about the topic of real estate. My name is Eric Willner, and we are live here Monday through Friday. That's 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 8 until 8:30 in the PM. That's Eastern Standard Time. You can listen to us live here on our local stations on AM 1470, FM 95.3, also on FM dial 96.9 and 103.9. All 4 stations simulcasting just as we do on our website, and that's at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. Just go to the top of the page, click on the Listen Live button, and you can choose there from either the Listen Live button. You can listen to any of our rebroadcasts. You can even download the podcast version. And speaking about podcasts, you can also hear us on iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, and a number of different apps that you can download for free. Just search for WWNN 1470 on the dial, and you can listen to us. Lots of different ways to listen, past tense, present tense, and we're just working on the future tense. But we'll be back again here tomorrow, as we are 5 days a week. Anyway, it's been an exciting week. We started out the week with a very special guest, Lou Brown, talking about the trust seminar coming up this coming Thursday. And after our conversation yesterday, I was able to twist his arm a little bit, and he did provide a generous discount, a 25% discount, if you go to www.maximumassetShield.com/Eric, ERIC. That's Maximum Asset Shield /Eric. And also, when you go to that site, you're also going to be able to download a free copy of his trust book, and you can even download a chapter from another book. So we got a whole bunch of goodies there for you. Definitely go check it out. Again, MaximumAssetShield.com /Eric. Now, here we are. It's already Tuesdays, tools, tips, and techniques. And as has become a tradition here, we have the foreclosure man here with us. And it just keeps getting better and better. And as we march towards an inevitable end to the foreclosure moratorium and rent moratorium, and when the economy is going to want to get active and become real, I think today's show is going to be very important, because what we're going to want to do is, our goal here is not to predict when these things are going to happen, but to prepare you for when they do. And so without further ado, first of all, I want to double check, make sure, is the foreclosure man on the line?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, or as they say in the business, 5 by 5. So how are you doing today?
On a Cherry Garcia cone again, which happens to be my addiction. And other than that, I am doing fine. And I am getting ready to weep, because in this next 60 days, so many people who haven't saved while they have been in this moratorium are going to be filed for foreclosure. And it's unfortunate. But on the other side of that coin, I offer a solution where I pay their attorney. But more importantly, we bring defenses that are real to the front of the court, and we wind up stretching it. And even if the case is lost, we restore the credit of the people who lose their homes, so that the day after a certain event, they can go buy a brand new home with clean credit.
Big stuff. And we have long been a proponent. Again, if you prepare for what's coming up, then the outcome is a lot more favorable to the homeowner. Now, as you said, there are cases you win, there's cases you lose, and it all depends on the circumstances and how prepared you are. Now, if you come to somebody for help without any preparation at the last minute, 9 out of 10 times, there's not a lot that can be done. Although I will say, I do know that the foreclosure man has accepted cases in the 11th hour and actually done pretty well with them.
Actually, about 6 years ago, one of the best cases he had been in foreclosure for 6 years, back when the stretch in the courts was extensive. It's no longer that way. The courts deal with it a lot quicker today. But Michael came to me, and I had known him briefly over the previous years, but he came to me and he said, I have been told to come to you for over a year, and I didn't. Now my attorney has informed me to get ready to broom clean the house and be prepared to be out with less than 30 days. So I said, well, why the hell didn't you come to me sooner? He said, well, yeah, I know you're not an attorney. Well, we sat down. I took a look at his case. I'm not an attorney, but I do know, and I will brag about it, I know more about foreclosure and the event of foreclosure and how it's filed in the courts than most attorneys, even if they've got Harvard MBAs, understand. And I hate to admit it, I'm almost 80 years old, but I have gained this knowledge over the past 15, 16 years. I took a look at his case and I said, let me get the right attorney. And I got an attorney. We went over the case. Inside of, I want to say 48, probably about 72 hours, we had a 42-page request for disclosure at the very last end of his case with the previous attorney. We fired that attorney, and we opened the case up again, and within 60, actually about 40 days, we had his case dismissed, and he just actually lost his case or lost his home maybe 3 months ago. And he walked out of that house after being in the house another, had to be 7 years, 7 years. And he walked out with clean credit, no judgment. And as I understand it, he's applying now for another mortgage, which he will be granted probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that's the kind of dimension that we bring to the case that an attorney will never bring to you if you just go find an attorney and hire him. We're very unusual. And I paid for the attorney all during that time.
The first thing I wanted to emphasize, don't put that kind of unnecessary burden and stress on yourself by waiting to the last minute. The time to be really positioning yourself and setting yourself up is right now, before the moratoriums are lifted, before you're being pushed up against the wall. And, ultimately, what's the story? The story is no pay, no stay, right? That's what the whole mortgage agreement was. You made an agreement to buy a house with a mortgage. You signed a contract that they would lend you the money, that you would make the payments. All that said and done, there are ways, the same way that you may have been caught, guilty 4 ways to sundown in a traffic speeding ticket, and yet you go to a place like the ticket clinic that, based on the technicalities, will reduce the ticket, if not eliminate it. That will, based on other factors that you wouldn't know, and if you tried to represent yourself, you wouldn't even begin to know where to start your defense. Now, just imagine that in the that's just a traffic ticket. Now imagine in the case of a mortgage, where your credit, your home, and your future financeability is all at stake. When someone comes to you and tells you that they can not only help protect all of your rights, can prolong the process enough for you to get your ducks in a row, and furthermore, will make sure that they level the playing field, use technicalities that you and I don't even think about on a regular basis because of their in-depth knowledge, and then come back and say, well, I'll show you a way that I can even get your attorney's fees paid for, which means that you're going to have an expert quarterback and an attorney. Why would you try going anywhere else? And that's what I have found to be most interesting, and why I engage this conversation not only for my personal clients, but I wanted to share this on the airwaves. So Foreclosure Man, we're coming up on a break right now. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. When I come back, I want to talk a little bit more about this preparation phase and how credit could play a big factor in here. Most people don't understand that. But so just hang on with us for a second. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. I'm here with the Foreclosure Man. You can get more information about the Foreclosure Man, by the way, at asktheforeclosureman.com. Very easy to remember, asktheforeclosureman.com. But we got a lot more for you still during the show, so don't touch that dial. My name is Eric Willner, and I will be right back. Michael, how are you? San Francisco's in the house. Who else do we have in the house? John, we've got John in the house. We've got Erica in the house. We've got, who else have we got there? So very interesting day. Actually, a very interesting week since the bombshell of the executive order over the weekend to the vice presidential nominee for the Democratic Party just coming out today. All this in the middle of all the headwinds of politics, economy, and the stock market. So, you know, this is not a time for the weak, for the soft stomach. Let's see, what did the market do today? It gave up some gains. We're still in the 27,000 and the upper 27,000s for that matter. The real estate market still busy as can be. So let's see here. What's the latest on the stimulus? Any check latest update for that.
We now have a Facebook page called The Real Estate
I love it. They're saying now, do you think just because they picked a vice presidential candidate, do you think now that we can have $2,000 a month? We're just going to be giving away money for free.
We want your input, your comments, and your likes.
18 hours.
That will help make both The Real Estate Show
is all that it matters.
A real resource for you.
So how's it going out there in the real estate market? On your side, I can tell you that South Florida is still as hot as can be.
This is The Real Estate Show, brought to you by Capital One Group LLC in Boca Raton, with your host, Eric Willner. If you have any questions about the broadcast, call toll free, 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. Now, back to today's show.
And welcome back. For those of you just joining us, you are listening to The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate, America's longest running daily radio show about real estate, and where people go to get their most up-to-date information, not only in terms of the market news, but in terms of the market trends and how to be prepared for the upcoming changes in the market. So with me today, I've got the Foreclosure Man, and we were just talking about really a very unique approach to foreclosure management, not foreclosure defense, because I think the courts and the banks are on to the old-fashioned, what was considered foreclosure defense back in 2007 and 2008 just isn't gonna fly. Just to raise the objection that they don't have the original note. That stuff is old news. Anybody who starts talking about that in the first 5 minutes, you should pack up your briefcase and run the other way. So, Foreclosure Man, in getting prepared for the upcoming wave of eviction, there's no question that there will be that, a wave of foreclosures. There was already something in the pipeline before. Even in good economies, bad things happen to good people, and there's always distress in the marketplace. But certainly, tens of millions of people still unemployed, all these people who are not paying their rent or not able to pay their rent, all these forbearances that were given out. At some point in time, we can't just keep giving out more money and kicking the can down the road. How important is it to be prepared?
It's difficult to tell somebody how important, because let me tell you, the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is that 1996, I was a contractor. I had a $22 million business. I was a contractor in the World Trade Center on the interiors, and I had come to lose my business, and we were losing our home, and the frustration and the anxiety was incredible. I had 4 children, all in college at the same time, and we had made a decision to sell a house. It was a valuable house. We did sell it for $1 million. I guess it was $1 million, not quite $1.5 million. And we went through hell for a year. And for that year, had I known then what I know now, life would have been incredibly different. So being prepared for the event we call foreclosure cannot be underestimated. The challenge is nobody ever wants to learn about it because it's such a negative in our lives. But what's coming forward now because of COVID and other situations that were being incurred by people who were facing foreclosure anyhow, it's devastating. It's horrible. Now, to that end, let me tell you something. What I have designed over these recent 13 years is a program to produce a positive result instead of a negative result. You don't have to go through the frustration. You don't have to put up with it. The anxiety, you can get rid of it. The problems that evolve in a marriage, which just debt destroys marriages and families, it devastates them. But the problem that debt and a foreclosure will do to your family, you can eliminate it. Call me, get together with me, and I can lay out a program for you where you'll stay an extended period of time in your home, and foreclosure will just be another event. It'll be a bill you pay or a bill you'll be relieved of, and you will move forward with almost, I want to say, seamless activity. But the goal is to preserve the family. If I had to live through that event, which took almost little less than 2 years to get through, I wouldn't be here telling you I do my best to stabilize and preserve families. If you're a single person owning a home, I'll do the same for you too, but families are important to me. I don't say that, I'm not Mother Teresa, don't get me wrong, but to have gone through what we did and suffered the way we did, without the knowledge I now have and can deliver to people, I would love to have known what I am doing now from somebody that could have given it to me. I can save your ass and your families and your marriage. And unless the marriage is deep for trouble with just debt. But I will do my best to save it. We have solutions that go beyond anything. I don't care if you go into a room with 100 different attorneys. Not one of them will do anything for you like what we do. We really sincerely want to work things out for the homeowner so that your result is, hey, move on. It was an event. It's over with. Let's get our lives back together again.
It needs to be said, because you have seen both sides of the coin, been in the thick of it. So neither of us are talking from theory. This is not textbook conversation. And to really put further light on that, what a lot of people don't realize is that when they fall behind on a mortgage, the bank will file a lawsuit called foreclosure. Foreclosure is nothing more than a specific type of a lawsuit for them to recover the money through the collateral that you pledged. But what people don't realize, because now I want to take this back to the conversation about credit, is that of course it comes on your credit report, but your credit report can be amended, it can be corrected, it can be fixed. Once a foreclosure goes all the way and the bank takes the house, if you don't do the right thing and they do it their way, it becomes a permanent mark in the public records. If you take you're toast. That's it. You know, you can clean your credit, but you can't clean. There's no such thing as public record repair. You know?
And a lot of our clients, clients tell me routinely, because we've done this for hundreds of people over recent years, they routinely say, if I hadn't found you, and then the other claim I get is, why didn't I know about you when it becomes too late? Because they contact us, we solicit, I send probably about between $10,000 and $15,000 worth of solicitations out every single month. And we get calls from people, and it's just literally a day too late. And they say, why didn't I know about you? I said, well, when did you get my letter? And some people say, well, I've had it here for around 2 weeks. I said, you knew. Why didn't you call me? Why didn't you call? Well, I thought it was too good to be true. I said, it's not. And I'll have people on the phone with you to tell you what we've done for them. We've not only extricated them from foreclosure, we've got their banks to give them $30,000, $50,000, $60,000, and then get them to sign off and clear them of the credit record, the credit destruction. And the other part of it is the credit restoration. It is incredible what we can do. There isn't a lawyer in the country, in the United States, that will look out for and do for you what we can do and have been doing.
So, a way to look at this is really not about what happened. The past is the past is the past. What we're really working on here is what is going to be the future. And the future can look like this. Case can be dismissed. The judgment can be dismissed. The credit can be repaired and restored if you take the first steps. And if you think it's too good to be true, well, do a little bit of research, do a little bit of homework. Go check out asktheforeclosureman.com. Asktheforeclosureman.com. Read the information, check it out, contact the foreclosure man. In a second, we're going to go ahead and give out the phone number for that. But I just want to emphasize that the time to be doing this, even if you don't commit to, and you're not being forced to commit to doing anything about an impending foreclosure, thanks to these moratoriums, but don't sit there on your hands. This is the time where we want to take a look at the credit and see where you stand. We want to have the best possible individual to represent in the case. So that means if you have somebody that has perhaps the reestablished ability to pay, maybe not, but better if we have someone with good credit or reestablished credit. Let's find out. There are a lot of people out there right now who had forbearance and were under the misconception that their credit wouldn't be touched. We're finding out that a lot of people who went into forbearance are getting their credit delinquently reported, negatively reported during this time. So, and here's another thing, and this is where it does sound too good to be true, but it is true. Number one, you just heard the foreclosure man say that subject to your case qualifying, you will have your attorney's fees paid for. That's how confident he is about this matter. But he'll even go a step further that if you qualify, you will have your credit restoration paid for. Now, that is something I like to hear. Do you want to elaborate on that in the last 90 seconds that we have in our show today?
Well, I may have some difficulty here with specificity of that, but our program has now begun to incorporate credit restoration as well as payment of your attorney. But there are conditions. They're not overbearing. They're quite simple. And at the end of the road, you'll look back and say, oh my God, we entered this thing called foreclosure with tremendous trepidation. And thank God we found a foreclosure man. It's 2-3 years later, and we're now moving into another house that we purchased with clean credit, and we just were foreclosed recently. So this is something that we can deliver to people, and we're not attorneys. We use attorneys. They're an industry, they're a business, but we know how to use them better than the general public will. And they work extremely well. They're good people. They're not going to screw anybody because we oversee it. And that's why we call what we do foreclosure management. It's a completely new discipline, completely new, and it saves people, and more importantly, from my perspective, it saves their families. Families are important to me.
And so if you're upside down, if you're in that situation, this is who I really want to be talking to. You could be throwing your money away for your future. And that's why I think a consultation is free. There's no cost. There's no obligation. Foreclosure Man, give out your phone number.
You're asking me a question I don't have.
Well,
and I have it. I don't know if I can get it that quickly.
AskTheForeclosureMan.com. That's AskTheForeclosureMan.com. If you want to just go to the website. That's funny. I'm the same way. Like, what is my own phone number? But AskTheForeclosureMan.com. You can definitely go there, and the phone numbers are also on that website. You can contact them via the website there. You'll hear them next week. In fact, I want to go more into that. Don't throw your future money away. You know, forget about me making an even deal with the bank if you don't have proper representation.
I that phone number.
Go for it.
It's 561-758-4110. 561-758-4110.
All right.
I just got it for the East Coast of Florida. And that's why I don't have it memorized in my brain. 561-758-4110.
There you go.
Evaluate, and you will be surprised at what we can do.
Yeah, you won't regret it. Anyway, that's it for today's show. This is Eric Willner signing off for another episode of The Real Estate Show. Don't forget to join us again each and every weekday evening from 8 until 8:30, right here where you heard us. That's it for today. Thank you very much. This is Eric Willner signing off. Drive safe. Wash those hands. God bless America. There you go. Yep, thank you.
Real Estate Show brought to you by Capital One Group.
And that's it for the radio show here. So thank you to all of our listeners and viewers on YouTube. I am going to end the broadcast there. We're now looking at adding chat, live chat to the YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that. But thanks again, and we'll see you again tomorrow. And I'm going to go ahead.